Hey crafters! Well, as you can tell, I've been running some errands, doing a little shopping at ye old Target. And I think it's high time I let you know that I'm always on the hunt for pieces that I can easily work a little DIY craft magic on. And I think we found a great piece here at Target. Was really enjoying seeing a lot of their spring summer stuff coming out, a lot of really fun colors, a lot of kind of like linen-y kind of blends of cottony mostly fabrics, a lot of denims, fun stuff like that. So definitely have a few ideas, but I've definitely found a dress that I think will be perfect for a little upcycle magic. I mean, if you find a garment that you like, but maybe it's not quite the right color, or maybe it's a little bit on the plain side, why not work a little crafty magic? The dress that I found is a white shirt dress. It's cotton. You know, we love cotton. And it is kind of a midi maxi length. I've actually purchased this dress in another fabric and I really enjoy it. It's very lightweight, very breezy, but it still has that shirt dress like collar, and it has this interesting kind of cinchy belt, so it's kind of size adjustable but still really drapey and roomy. So I came back for another one because they have it in white cotton. You know that what that means, right? Yeah, that means we are gonna tie-dye this baby. Also, visited the craft store and had a really long decision crisis in the dye aisle, but I think I found a perfect combination of some tie-dye colors for us to transform this white dress into something that hopefully will be vibrant, but still really classy, really pretty for spring, summer. Let me show you a little footage I took while shopping, and then I'll take the stuff home, show you what I got, and we'll get to upcycling. Let's get started. And here is our Target dress. This one is from Universal Threads, and it is 100% cotton. It's basically like a giant nightshirt almost. It's very wide. It's long on me especially, which is great. I love me a maxi length. Does have long sleeves, but you can roll those up and cuff them. It does also have some relatively high side slits, and the buttons don't go all the way down in the front. I may end up sewing the side slits down a little bit just for me. We'll see. Not sure about that. But I really enjoy this kind of intriguing cinchable belt in the front, because when you pull on those little ties, you cinch the fabric inward towards the button placket from both sides, and it kind of makes a little waist definition, which you can adjust. Then that leaves the back kind of drapey and flowy. So definitely kind of like an oversized, floaty, comfortable dress, which sounds great, especially for end of spring and into summer. I think this will be a lot of fun to wear and also go with the tie-dye vibe really well. So let me show you the tie-dye kit that I finally decided on. Well, did you guys guess which one I was going to pick? I was actually kind of surprised I picked this one. This is the Tiara tulip kit. And I love this. I kept coming back to it. I love the ombre effect. You get this light pink to darker purple to darker. You even have this kind of bluer periwinkle color in there. Man, that is cool. Okay, I usually go for more of like, the rainbow colors, but kept coming back to this one. I think especially because of that really nice color gradient going from lighter to darker in those pinks to purples. Just kept coming back to it. I really enjoyed it. It's very like sunset-ish. I was also kind of thinking that it might be better to go with more of a, I don't know, slightly more subtle tie-dye color combination for the dress, just because it is a really long, really full, flowy dress. Like the dress in and of itself is a lot. And if I made the whole thing really bright, kind of clashing colors, it would be kind of a lot on top of that. And don't get me wrong, I love that. And I wear that. But as a short person, sometimes it's nice to have the more voluminous garments be a little bit more subtle so it's not quite so overwhelming. I don't know. That's just kind of my thought process. Also, I hadn't tried this kit before, and I just kept coming back to it. I want to try it. So that is what we are going to do today. Let's flip this over. Of course, with these tie-dye kits, you got all the stuff. Well, not all the stuff, but you got lots of stuff included. It's super easy to use, and it's pretty much instant gratification. Well, almost instant gratification. Of course, you're not getting the most vibrant colors. You're not getting as, lasting a color as you would with a higher quality dye, but it's pretty easy peasy, and sometimes we like easy peasy instant gratification around here, so that's what we're going for. Of course, we've got our little dye packets, and then we put those into the squeezy bottles, fill those up with water, shake, 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 get that dissolved, and then we've got those bottles full of dye ready to go. Top tip, definitely shake more than you think because it's going to take a while to dissolve, so get that started. Our kit also comes with some gloves and rubber bands, which is great. I like to have backup rubber bands if I'm doing a big like tie-up project. I'll often get like a big container of just rubber bands from the office supply section and have a lot of options. That's really nice to have. Of course, I'm also going to be prepping my work surface. I've got to do this outside, so I will be putting out a big tarp in my carport. I'll probably bring some towels, maybe to like kneel on. I'll have some paper towel, some trash bags. I'm also going to need a plastic bag to wrap up each of my garments to let them set. Once we got the dye on there, we got to let it set 6 to 8 hours, and then you rinse it out. I'm going to be aiming for the 8 hours if I can do it. And then I will rinse the garment out. Try to get all that dye out. Of course, being careful when you rinse it out. Anytime you're dealing with dye, you got to be careful getting that out. And then I may launder the garment on cold and then dry it before I show you, or I may just drip dry it. We'll see what happens. But anyway, I think we got our dye. So let me gather some supplies, and let's get started. Well, aren't these cute? As a bonus project, I'm going to be tie-dyeing some baby onesies for one of my nephews who has a birthday coming up. Of course, these guys are from Target as well. These are from Carter's. They are cotton. They're going to be so cute for this project. I got to say, I mean, tie-dyeing stuff for grown-ups is fun, but tie-dyeing stuff for kids is just even cuter. I think I'm going to use maybe the purple from my tie-dye kit, and then I also have a teal dye left over from another project. So I think I'll kind of mix up those colors with these just for added fun on this project. Top tip, always good to have some extra pieces to the side, maybe some t-shirts ready to go, a little baby onesies or a little tote bag, something like that, because it always seems like you have a little extra dye left over, and if you're making the big mess and, doing the whole thing, you might as well do a bunch of pieces all at once and just have a lot of fun with it. So that is exactly what we are going to do. Well, I'm playing around with doing a little tying up for these onesies, and I'm going to keep it super simple. I think the little guy on the right, I'm just going to leave him untied up. I'll definitely get him wet before I get dye on there. I think I might want to just do like little splatters and drips, kind of little like paint splatters. We'll see. This guy, I did a couple starbursts. Looks pretty funny. Here's the bottom of the onesie, and of course the top is there at the top. I did some little starburst bunches kind of coming from the sides. I wanted to get some fabric from the front of the onesie, some from the back, and kind of make them kind of asymmetrical. So there's like a starburst coming from one shoulder, and then there's a starburst kind of coming from one hip area. We'll see if that turns out. And then I've got this little guy. He's just folded like accordion pleats. And we'll get a whole bunch of little dye on there, get it into the pleats a bit, and should make it look kind of stripey. So pretty simple, but I think these will be cute. Okay guys, I am outside in my carport. You can tell I got my tarp down. I got a whole bunch of trash bags out. I got paper towel, gloves, a whole bunch of other stuff with me as well. I gotta put those dye packets into those squeezy bottles and fill them up. Shake, 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 shake. Try to get that stuff as dissolved as I can. I also started laying out the dress. Of course, got that all wet. And I'm not tying this one up, but I did want to lay it out in kind of even accordion folds as best as I can. Like I could put rubber bands on it to show the increments for color, but I kind of didn't want rubber band lines, so I think I'm just kind of draping the dress out. I do want some color variation, so I don't want the color to be like perfectly applied to a flat dress, but I want those self-made wrinkles and pleats to be somewhat even. Of course, I will have to put dye on the front of the dress and then flip it over and get some dye on the back. Those trash bags kind of just help me with dye collection because it gets everywhere. So I'll be using a lot of paper towel and kind of mopping up as I go. Hopefully it will mean I don't have puddles of dye getting onto the dress where I don't want it to. Theoretically. We'll see. Okay, gotta fill up these squeezy bottles and get started. I think we're gonna switch to time lapse because this is gonna take a little while, but it's a beautiful day for tie-dye. I'm really excited to finally tackle this project, so I'm just gonna get in the tie-dye zone and go for it. Let's do this. Okay, got the bottles all filled up. Here they are with the color breakdown. I think I'm gonna start top of the garment, light pink, and go on down to the bottom. I think I may actually end up leaving out periwinkle. I know it's very cool, but it's lighter and it's also much bluer than my darkest color. And if I do this, I kind of keep more of that ombre. See how the periwinkle is a little different down at the bottom? I think I'm gonna use that more on the baby onesies, and I do have a t-shirt or two that needs some color, so I will definitely be using it. But I think we gotta start with the pink. All right, I think, pink starting at the top of the dress, and I'm gonna try to kind of divide it into fourths with the darkest at the bottom. If I end up having too much fabric, I will add periwinkle at the bottom if I judge it wrong. But we'll see. I think we're ready. Here we go. Okay, guys, I think this guy is pretty done. You could tell I flipped over the dress and tried to do the backside as well. And I think we got just about as much dye on there as we can. I actually used up a whole bunch of my dye. See, there are my dye bottles. Wow, the only one that's full is periwinkle because I didn't use it. A couple of goofs you might have noticed. I definitely had a couple bottles where I thought the dye powder was dissolved, but some little flecks were coming out with the dye, so should have shaken those a little more. Also, I think I might have swapped my paint colors. Yeah, I might have put the lighter pink in the middle and the darker pink at the top, which would throw off my ombre a bit. I mean, I think it'll still look cool, but I'm pretty sure I did that. Darn it. Maybe note to self, if you have a couple pinks that look pretty similar in their bottles, maybe label them. Also, when flipping the dress over, I had some dark purple on my gloves. Thought I'd clean my gloves off, but I kind of got some purple on there as I was trying to flip it over. So I got some purple spots more in the pink. So, a couple goof ups there. But learn from my goofs so you don't do them too. Other than that, I think we're pretty good. I'm going to wrap up the dress here in those trash bags that it's lying on. And then put the whole thing in a bigger trash bag. And then let that sit for 6 to 8 hours. We'll see how long I can give it before I got to wash it out. But then just got to, launder the dress, and I think we'll be ready to check it out. I do have a little more dye left. I've got my teal dye I got to mix up. So I'm going to do those onesies. I got a t-shirt or two, a few other projects to do as well. And finish those guys up and let them sit and show you what it all looks like when we're done. guys. Talk about a color transformation. Oh my gosh. Our dress is now vibrant. I will say, this color combination or this dye pack is pretty fun. The purples especially are very intense, and the pinks are quite a bit lighter. So it is fun for that ombre effect. I am glad I put the dark purple at the bottom though, because it is definitely more overpowering than the other colors. And I think I've noticed that as well with some of the other tulip kits I've tried. If there is a purple, it is often much more pigmented than everything else. So, note to self, purple is powerful. Purple power. Um, but man, I enjoyed working with this dress specifically because I could mostly lay it out flat. And things that have like waistbands or a lot of fabric details have the fabric kind of gathered up and bunched sort of already, and you have to work with that as you're applying your dye. But this, I could lay flat and then kind of work into those accordion folds that I had put into the dress when I laid it out wet on the trash bags. That kind of helped me get these like kind of vertical, almost like brush strokes you kind of see in the dye. Like it kind of looks like somebody just like painted it, kind of like that. You could tell I was also trying to kind of splash on the dye in one back and forth direction as I was putting it on. So kind of like vertical dye pattern on the dress. And I like how that looks. I'm glad I did that. I think that's fun. Because, yeah, it does kind of look like it flows or it was brushed or painted in that kind of up and down direction on the dress. Of course, side to side as we're looking at it, but on the dress, it's kind of bottom to top. So I really enjoy that. I think the colors in this dye kit are pretty cool for making like an ombre effect. That said, I am a little picky, and there were definitely some goofs that I wish I had avoided while doing this. I definitely mixed up those pinks. You might tell the middle of the dress definitely is a lighter pink than the shoulder area, the top. So yeah, kind of messed up my ombre a little bit. I don't think anybody besides you and I are going to notice this particularly, but yeah, I was really hoping for my perfect ombre. But anyway, note to self, the pinks are not that different looking in this dye kit. So if you want something that's really contrasting, maybe, work with some darker colors. And then if you can't tell your dye bottles apart, label them. Yeah. Another thing you might have noticed, I had some purplish dye on my gloves when I flipped the dress over, and I got some purple splotchiness up in the pink. Now, thankfully, it wasn't the super dark purple that I had on my gloves. It was more the medium purple, and I think it looks fine. It faded out a bit. It's okay. But that was definitely rookie mistake. I should have really cleaned my gloves or put on different gloves when I was flipping the dress over. If I had made a really giant smudge of like another color in a place I didn't want, I would have needed to splash on, some dark, just have some like maybe splatters across the dress of the dark color and add it in some different places to make it look intentional. And I've done that, and it's actually, it turns out fine. It looks great. But for this one, it is a bit of a smudge in the pink. Thankfully, it's okay because it's not that dark. But note to self, guys. Anyway, tie-dye happens. It's usually not exactly what I'm anticipating. Some pieces I love more than others, or others I'm like, oh, that happened, and I didn't even think that could happen, and I end up loving it more. So it's tie-dye. Roll with it, baby. I think that's how it goes. Let me adjust the tie on the front of the dress so you can see this in its final form. Yeah, it's fun how those ties help cinch in the front, but then they tie to the sides. That's really cute. Of course, there isn't really any shaping in the back of the dress still. So it's still like super, super boxy, but also really like breezy and comfy. I like rolling the sleeves up. I think that's probably how I'll wear that the most. But also, hey, sleeves give good sun coverage. So I think with the features of this dress and, of course, our tie dye, I think I'm going to have a lot of fun wearing this for spring and summer and, yeah, get a lot of use out of it. Let me know in the comments if you want me to tie dye some more dresses or some other things this summer because you notice there are a lot of tie-dye kits out there that I still want to try. And of course, some other techniques and other types of dye that I'm still making plans for too. So, yeah, I got the tie-dye fever and I don't want to stop. Let me show you how the baby onesies turned out. And here are the baby onesies. Oh my goodness, you guys, this is such a fun project. Doesn't take a whole lot of dye because they're so small, but yeah, very fun, very satisfying project. I will say, I think I like the accordion fold and the splatter dyed one the best. Those are the ones on the left and the right. I think the simpler patterns end up coming out a little better because the baby onesies are small. They don't have a lot of fabric to work with. So I love how those turned out. Definitely love the like periwinkle, purple, and teal combinations on all of these. This is amazing. I think with the starburst one in the middle, I mean, gosh, that's really fun and vibrant. I think the starbursts would have turned out a little clearer if I had used more contrasting colors, but I used the purple and the periwinkle primarily on those. And so those aren't quite as clear as they could have been if I'd used maybe the purple and the teal on the starburst instead. I don't know. Anyway, just some ideas for future, but man, super fun project for the little guys. And yeah, I think these will be really cute for my little nephew, and hope he has as much fun wearing them as I had making them. And of course, you guys, if you get behind turning plain stuff into bright and fun and colorful stuff, or taking something that you don't love and changing it up into something that's perfect for you, hey, give this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more fun stuff from Partners in Craft. We got all sorts of fun stuff planned for spring, summer, and beyond. So hope you join us for more crafting adventures. I've got to put my tie-dye outfit together and take it outside. I'll show you what that looks like when I'm all set.